initially, I think people went to this two-screen environment for business reasons. They just didn't have the right to be embedded in the game telecast, but also for ease of use and kind of, as you point out, using each device in the way that it's maximally designed to be effective. The promise of a single screen has always been that you can move fans more seamlessly from watching into engaging, including engaging in revenue activities, buying merchandise, buying tickets, betting in particular. And that's been kind of the holy grail of UI, UX. When we were setting up Monumental Sports, the new Monumental Sports Network app across all direct-to-consumer devices for the teams in DC, the Wizards, the Caps, the G League, the Mystics, we looked very closely at a whole series of engagement mechanisms and tried to understand which would be optimal for which kind of device type. As you think about the whole menu of LiveLike, and it may be useful for you to review what kinds of engagement mechanisms you folks offer, talk to whether the location, device location, is material to that particular function or is kind of agnostic to device.
Yeah, sure. So as background, what do we offer? We are an we're an audience engagement platform that kind of sits embedded in other audience engagement platforms. It's SDKs, APIs, if you want to get technical with it, but there is no LiveLike app out there. We would work with the likes of an MSG network, but what you will see on the MSG network is their trivia game or their t-shirt cannon memory game, right? If we worked with, when we work with Yes Network, it will be their rewards program as another example of that. What we're trying to drive ultimately is we want to enhance the value of their entire audience and their entire fan base by providing the reason to use digital over non-digital means, right? Even if you're watching the Yankee game on TV, still come back to the app and interact with the pick and play module as an example, right? So that's really the value that we're trying to drive, is providing more areas for users to come back to the experience, right? And then stay on the experience longer. The means of how we do it would come from prediction games, trivia games, community-driven experiences such as comment boards, public chat, influencer chat, and then giving the users the reason why, which is here's your points, your badges, you're getting a sense of earning and a sense of loyalty that I think we are all accustomed to, whether it's at Starbucks or at Marriott, right? And rewarding fans for just coming back to the experience and taking part of actions that they already take part in.
Now, going back to the two screens versus one screen though, right? So you're looking at a scenario where I do think the one screen experience is the right answer. I think that a lot of companies have taken baby steps in that direction and often don't go far enough, right? So for instance, you talked about betting, and that's a big thing that we'll talk about in a bit, but even fantasy sports, right? Like, so one of the things that, again, my kids and a lot of people I know, they are watching it on a device, and then they have to switch over to their fantasy app to see how they're scoring and things like that. Whereas if you would incorporate that, and so the more personalized you can create that sort of one screen experience, because some people are going to want to watch the fantasy sports. Some people are going to want to be engaged in the betting. Some people are going to want to be doing, work emails while they're watching the game, right? So there's all these different reasons why you just want the screen up and then something else on it, or stats. And an interesting thing that I found in all my research and working with people is that a lot of people, particularly younger generation folks, want to learn more about the game itself so they can apply that to the video games they're playing, right? So what the play call works against this defense, or what pitch works against these kind of hitters, and they can use that in their video game experiences as well, and it actually enhances their ability to do those things. So, the more you can give them the personalized options of the one screen versus the two screen, I think is really going to make a big difference, because you're not going to reach everybody in one screen or two screen. You're going to have to sort of decide that. And with ADHD on the rise, everybody's a little bit all over the place, right? And they have to decide what they want to do with themselves.